mental Russian roulette, we're really exposing our true self, our true weakness, and we end up going further than we wanted to go. Verse 16, Samson finally reached the point of no return. She bugged him. So that's what the enemy does. The enemy bugs us and oppresses us until we give up. He bothers us. He nags us until we give up. It was time for him to put up or shut up. And we often get led to the point of no return. We're often caused to, just told to give up. We're often caused to get to a point where we've either got to get up or shut up. Samson goes all the way. He tells Delilah the secret of his strength. He tells her, listen, I was a Nazarite, and all of my life there was no razor to be put upon my head. There was no strong drink that was to trickle down my palate or cross my esophagus. And if you cut my hair, I'll lose my strength. And if we're not careful, we too will give the enemy the secret to our strength. We will tell them the reason why I have not fallen is because I fast and pray, and I go to church on Tuesday, and I dedicate myself to the Lord. And before you know it, the Delilahs of our life will be telling us, you can miss Bible study this time. You don't have to pray right now. You really don't have to fast. You can fast on the next consecration. And before you know it, we start slipping and sliding back. Am I in the right house? We meet that special somebody who don't go to church, who doesn't want to live for the Lord. And may I suggest to you that the Bible asks us the question, can two walk together except they be agreed? Y'all ain't gonna help me preach right now. You see, there was some wisdom in what the old saints used to teach us when they used to tell the young ladies to wait for a saved young man, because what happens is you get out there. Oh, y'all ain't gonna help me now. Listen, if you meet a Negro in the club, do I need to say anything else? If you meet a Negro in the club, high, drunk, trying to get in your drawers, I know it's quiet in here, but I might as well tell the truth. What kind of Negro do you think he gonna be when you get him home? What make you think if God don't clean him up, that you can clean him up? God help me preach this thing here. And likewise, brothers, if you meet shoestring loose women, if you met her in the club and she was dropping it like it was hot, and you hit it on the first night, can I be real in here? What make you think she's wifey material? Y'all ain't gonna like me today. And so we expose ourselves to the enemy and allow him to rule and to reign and direct havoc in our lives. And that's what the fatal attraction will do. It will wind up taking us further than we wanted to go. And secondly, it will keep us longer than we wanted to stay. See, when Delilah finally learned how to take advantage of and overcome Samson, she did what it took to put him at a disadvantage. She put him to sleep in her lap. Come on, somebody. Started stroking his hair, rubbing his shoulders. Y'all ain't gonna help me in here. Yeah. Fell asleep in his baby doll's lap. And while he was laying there asleep, Sister Shamela, in his baby girl's lap, she got the scissors and started cutting his hair. Oh, yeah. When we get involved in vices, we often stay bound in painful situations. We often get stuck in the muck and the mire of mediocrity. We get kept in the annals of adversity, kept in the trenches of torment. So we can't get to the point where we can praise and worship and overcome and find joy. What we do, brothers and sisters, is we forfeit the power of God in our lives. You see, before Samson told his secret, he always had a plan of attack. He had a way to escape. He had the ability to overcome, but he forfeited the power of God by exposing his secret to the enemy. He gave the opposition the advantage needed to defeat him. Many times in life we allow the enemy not only to take us further in devices, but also to keep us enslaved, entangled, and entrapped in it because we forfeit the power of God to get out of our situation. How many people do you know that have been caught in the same circle of problems for years and years? The same dead-end relationship with a brother putting his hand upside her head every other night, but she can't get out of the relationship because the enemy is keeping her longer than she actually wanted to stay. Because we forfeited the power of God in our life. And the problem is, not only are we relinquishing our covenant with God, but we also become confined to and incarcerated by our prison-like mentality, whereby the enemy can take full advantage of our situation. Because the Bible tells us that as a man thinks, so is he. And so the enemy tricks folk into thinking that this is what you deserve. I don't care where you've been in your life. I don't care what you've done in your life. You don't deserve the enemy's mess. You don't deserve to be mistreated. You don't deserve to be talked about like that. You don't deserve to be treated in that facet. You deserve better. Touch your neighbor and tell your neighbor, I deserve better. And that's what the enemy does. He binds us, which causes us to take our eye off Jesus and lose sight of where we're going. He binds us, which holds us in captivity of his will and our own dependence on him. Brothers and sisters, don't ever think that you need to depend on somebody who's no good. I wish I had a witness up in here. I think somebody wrote a play that said I can do bad all by myself. Come on, somebody. I'm not going to kick him out because I need him to help me pay the rent, and I need him to help me pay these bills, and no, what you need is a new outlook on your own life. You need to kick that Negro to the curb. Y'all ain't gonna help me preach up in here and understand that God is your Jehovah Jireh, and he will provide for you, and God is your protection, and God is your help, and God is your strength, and God is a very present help in the time of trouble. Now, would y'all please sit down? It's rude to stand while I'm preaching. You don't need nobody but the Lord. You don't have to depend, and as a result, what happens is we take on the mentality of a prisoner, whereby we become enslaved by him to do his work and his will. See, the fatal attraction will keep us longer than we wanted to stay. And then finally, brothers and sisters, it will cost us more than we are willing to pay. You see, not only will it take us further than we're willing to go, not only will it keep us longer than we're willing to stay, but tragically, more than likely, it will ultimately cost us more than we are willing to pay. For as we continue in verse 23, we find out that Samson had to endure the high cost of humiliation that came from the Philistine. He had to endure agony and torture and torment. For the Bible said they offered a great sacrifice to their god Dagon and rejoiced because he had delivered their enemy Samson into their hands. They didn't only cut his hair, but they took his eyes out. Oh yeah, they bound him and and put him on the grinding wheel and made a slave out of him. See, the enemy don't just want to kill you, but he wants to humiliate you. Jesus told Peter, he said, Satan desires to sift you as